Our next presentation is ISDB, and we will in fact have 4 speakers. I will introduce the first one of them, Mr. James Santiago. And although he may look Japanese, James Santiago is actually Filipino, for your information. He's an electronics and communications engineer, consultant to the Association of Radio Industries and Businesses of Japan and Digital Broadcast Experts Group. James also was a lecturer and trainer for the Asian Broadcasting Development Foundation, funded by the United Nations. He's taught in various places, including the University of the Philippines and the other TV broadcast network. James, can you please join us? Thank you.
Well, basically, I will not be starting my presentation yet. My first order at hand is to introduce the member of our presentation team. So I guess this introduction doesn't count in the 30 minutes. So there will be 4 of us. And the first one is our head of delegation, Mr. Ogasawa Michiaki, which is the Director General for Global ICT Strategy of the Ministry of Communications of Japan, just to make sure that whatever is stated here is official and is not something that is crafted from the imagination of somebody. Mr. Toby Sanko, which is one of our colleagues, he's a broadcaster. His expertise is the development of business opportunities in the implementation of digital services, which is ISDB in Japan. He'll be showing a lot of figures and the success story and what really works and what doesn't work. Next one is Mr. Kenji Sagayama. He's I guess the most aggressive ISDB set-top box manufacturer. We invited him here so that you will hear straight from him the price that will be coming out from his factory once ISDB is decided in the Philippines with many configurations. This is straight from the horse himself, but he's not horse. So I'd like to start our presentation with our Director General, Mr. Ogasawa Michiaki.
Good morning. Thank you for your invaluable time and for this opportunity to address you. We are pleased to know that Philippines is currently examining the presently available data broadcasting system. So I'm here together in a cooperative manner with Japanese private broadcasters and manufacturers to encourage you to adopt the ISDB-T system. I'm so pleased to introduce the Japanese ISDB-T standard to all of you here today. It's more imperative for the Philippines to receive essential emergency warning broadcasting through mobile handset in cases of impending disaster such as typhoon, flood, earthquake. I also believe that you should be able to do this without having to double invest. We all honestly believe that the emergency warning signal like one-cent service with ISDB-T can save precious Philippine lives. To enact this capability, ISDB-T offers wide-ranging superiorities over other systems other than the point I mentioned. But I'd like to introduce only make 3 points here. Firstly, ISDB-T provides strong protection against noise compared to other systems. With this capability, the coverage of ISDB-T is much larger than that of others. As the Philippines is an island nation and has a complex topography very similar to Japan, ISDB-T is the best system in facilitating the easy transmission of radio waves. Secondly, ISDB-T can simultaneously transmit to fixed TV and mobile handset by using one transmitter and one frequency. Finally, I'd like to emphasize here that the price of our STB set-top box is well competitive even to the other system of STB. We are able to provide a full demonstration of the ISDB system during this conference. Also, test broadcasting have already begun on LBN and German, while NHCBN has already started the preparation for test broadcasting. Ms. Later, Engineer Sunshine and Sarayama and Mrs. Sano will now make a detailed presentation following mine. In closing, the government of Japan will have every intention of supporting the Philippines in the best way we can. I look according hope that ISDB-T will be held as best standard for the Filipino people. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
So it's now time for me to start my presentation. So because of time constraints, I will not be dealing too much on the technical, but mostly the key factors that the decision makers at ADB needs. So slide please. So I'll be co-presenting with Mr. Kenji Sagayama on this one. And next slide please. Oh, okay, sorry. I got used to automated. Sorry. So comparing the three digital standards, you can see that by the introduction itself, ISDB-T is the latest technology in digital TV that has been implemented around the world. We take pride in the improvements in the technology, including the introduction of time interleaving function. Time interleaving in a band segmented environment, which allows us to handle interference in the communication channel. This is something that we are faced with. Now, time interleaving provides improvement in the ability to receive signal. In the terms of performance, we can safely say that we are in the category of excellent. Okay? In portability and providing multiple standard definition or high definition and mobile, at the same time, we can do it. Okay? And then, in service is emergency warning signal. This is something very important for me, and I'll explain more of that a little bit later. This is a typical example. In our standard, you can provide now high definition television plus one mobile TV standard, or a program, sorry. Next, if you want to make some variations in your program, you can provide 4 standard definition TV format in one 6 MHz, again with the mobile TV feature. We have data broadcast integrated also in the standard. So you can introduce interactive features, extra strategies, extra information that you think is relevant to the viewers. And this is the example of time interleaving. I have a specific slide for this one. How the program bouquet is provided here, and emergency warning system. This is how we are able to do it. In 6 MHz, we divide them into 30, and in the middle, color blue, that segment is dedicated for your handheld devices, and the brown one will be used for the delivery of high definition or multiple standard definition services. This is an example of the configuration if you want to do high definition at certain time, which is most probably during prime time, your best program, and during off-peak time, you can opt for multiple standard definition. So if you use MPEG-2, this will be your option, one high definition plus mobile TV, or you switch to standard definition, you can provide 4 programs and maximum for one segment, 2 mobile TV, or if you use MPEG-4, you just double it up. This works. It's an example again of various programming strategies at certain times of the day. Okay? And in basic comparison of the Japanese versus the other standard, ISDB-T will provide high definition or standard definition plus mobile TV in one transmitter in operation and service. Okay, this is very economical for broadcasters because we want to maximize the use of our capital. Okay, we need at least a minimal investment for better penetration. Meanwhile, for the other standard, you have a dedicated transmitter for terrestrial TV. If you want to introduce handheld TV, you have to adopt a separate standard, which is not T, which is not DVB-T, rather it's DVB-H, which is governed or within the domain of the telcos. They're the ones providing it, not the broadcaster. So you have to acquire another transmitter. So you have to reinvest. This is something very important. One transmitter for a broadcaster, you'll be able to provide all of this at the same time. Now, which is cheaper? Your guess is as good as mine. This is time interleaving. Very good for handling impulse noise. Example of impulse noise is the hair dryer that are starting your engine, microwave ovens, etc., etc. You can see this is the original image, and in analog, you have this image attacked, or the image has been interfered by impulse noise. This will be the image on your TV set at home. There's no way for you to reconstruct it. This goes through also for DVD as proven from the experiments done around the world, specifically in South America. It cannot be reconstructed in DVD-T. Meanwhile, with the introduction of time interleaving function, which is available in ISDB-T, the picture information is randomized in here or scrambled. So when the error is impressed on this line, and we try to recover the image, the errors are spread all throughout the image again, so we can, the forward error correction function kicks in and reconstructs the original image. The viewer will not be able to notice that there was an error in the communication channel. So you get to enjoy perfect image all the time. This is a graph as a result of the tests and allegations that time interleaving is not really necessary, according to someone. This is the data that with time interleaving, you would need less scare noise requirement to maintain stable picture reception. Meanwhile, if you do not have time interleaving, despite of increasing the amount of transmitted power, which is, I guess, here, I'm sure, very large, it doesn't provide any form of improvement. Just by using time interleaving, you get to enjoy the benefits of stable reception against impulse noise. This is an image as an example comparing what happens during impulse noise condition when you're watching TV. You can see that in the Japanese standard, ISDB, the picture remains perfect. Meanwhile, in the other standard, when there's impulse noise, it suffers some sort of distortion. This is live experiment in South America. This one is a test done in Chile. Okay, they tried to compare the performance of the two standards using identical test conditions, identical parameters. So they use the same transmitter, same antenna, and some of the configurations. They yielded that ISDB-T, after 12 kilometers using 100 watts,
probability of reception is 70%, while the other standard only accounts for 50% probability. So with that 20% probability of reception more than the other standard, we can safely say and confidently state that our coverage, if we say 50% probability of reception for both, will have a larger coverage area. I guess that's very straightforward. Now, as an example, in Quezon City, I'm sure everybody knows that there are ongoing tests. One is GenNet TV, and then the other one is the National Broadcasting Network. I'll take example as of the National Broadcasting Network. They're transmitting now 500 watts in Quezon City. And we're here in Taal, Tagaytay, 60 kilometers distance according to Google Earth. And we're able to receive high definition, not standard definition, but high definition. So I invite you to see for yourself outside. Next one is emergency warning broadcast system. This is very important, and we all see the value of this feature as illustrated by the recent calamity that has struck our country. I keep on telling myself, we should have had emergency warning signal. It's very easy to implement. You just connect through ID or whatever convenient means to PAGASA or to the meteorological agency that will collect all the information from the sensors, and it will automatically emit the warning signal and will be received by the people through the broadcast environment. So we do not have to wait for somebody to step in front of the camera to say, oh, classes are suspended, don't go to school. And we all know by experience that before we get that information, we're already trapped in the middle of the flood. Volcanic eruptions, typhoon, yes, it's very important that we adopt ISDB so that we can enjoy emergency warning broadcast feature. Okay. Also, EWBS or emergency warning has been devised to be very easy to be received by the receiver. Okay, it's emergency, so as much as possible, you must get minimal amount of data so that you can decode the warning signal. Okay, and this is the highlight of ISDB-T. Within the coverage area, you will get the warning, so you will have the chance to seek shelter. Next one, the most exciting development now are concentrated in South America, and you will see in the map here that 80% of South America already has adopted ISDB-T. Somebody mentioned that Colombia adopted the other standard. Yes, it's true. Even earlier than the other countries here. But if you go there, no implementation has happened. So they're reconsidering their decision. So it's a good reference for us to watch in the coming months if Colombia will stay it on or move to ISDB-T. Okay. And we are committed to provide technical training assistance or whatever by request of the KBP, the Filipino broadcasters, at no cost. That's how committed we are to provide you with the ability to enjoy ISDB-T. In the other standard, you will not hear this type of statement because at the end of the day, it's just business for them. Okay, you have to hire maybe an expert and then pay them several $100,000s of dollars. We're going to do it for free for KBP. I'd like to introduce the next speaker, my colleague, the president of GZO, Mr. Kenji Sagayama, to tell us about the price of the set-top boxes. But before I conclude, I'd like to say that talk is cheap. If you go outside, you'll see for yourselves live demonstration of a transmission coming from Quezon City, and the image that you will see will speak for itself. Thank you very much for listening, and it's my call.
Good morning, Kenji Sagayama of EW today, my presentation time is very limited, 3 minutes. So I quickly talk and then I get the point. And my mission at this time come here is to make the set-top box with very affordable and high quality to make the transition smoothly and quickly into the countries. And EWD Judo Group is a rather bigger scale set-top box manufacturing group in China. And our monthly set-top box production capability is 1.2 million. That means every day we can make 30,000 sets. That means the purchasing power of the material, including LSI and some memory chips, and also the adapter and case and so on, is very low cost. So this is one of our advantage. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. This is a set-top box that today I carry that also manufacturing now. This is ISDB-T, NVIC2, NVIC4 input, and HD, SD input, and also HD, SD output. Okay. My main topics is the price difference between ISDB-T and also the DBB-T set box at this moment, mostly very, very similar, really insignificant. And why? The key point of the set box, this is a basic set box block diagram. Yes. This is even for ISDB-T or DBB-T set-top box is the same. The difference is only demodulator price is different. And years ago, the ISDB-T demodulator is very expensive, around 7 to 8 US. And now going down to 5 US, and now end of this year to early this year, down to around 2.8 US. That means more than just a $6 price down already. So because of this, the difference among standard, say again, ISDB-T or DBB-T, the only difference is demodulator. But now demodulator price down, so the price set box, the difference between ISDB-T and also DBB-T is almost the same. But why a demodulator price down now? There are two reasons. One reason is for a long time, some of the Japanese company, LSI company, T company control the market. So they don't reduce the cost. But nowadays, not only Japanese company, also the European company, also Korean company start for selling demodulator IC. And because of this, the market price is now going down. This is a very, very important factor. And also, my colleague James before explained, the South American country now adopt the ISDB-T, including Brazil and Argentina and Peru, Chile, and Venezuela. And because of this big market of ISDB, imagine now, so because of this, the LSI supplier now cut the cost. So because of this, the difference between DBB-T, ISDB-T, demodular price is now mostly the same. Yes. Today, I prepare the price of the set box. Our group now making the set box not only for ISDB-T, but also DBB-T, also ATSC. From this manufacturing and R&D experience, we calculate the cost. Then, the set box quotation, there are many kind of category. We choose MPEG 2 or we choose MPEG 4, price difference. And input, output, we choose SD to SD or HD to SD or HD to HD, all price difference. So, for a long time we discuss price, just $10, $20, but we have to know which specification we want. Then we can decide quotation. And at this moment, in case we choose MPEG 2, after calculating all input costs, including demodulator, our price is $10.98 FOB China. And in case MPEG 2, HD in, SD out is 19.85. And in case of the MPEG 4, this is HD in, SD out is 33.98. And this price is, I think, very compatible at this moment compared to this another standard. So, we highly appreciate the, in case needs a factory visit, please take a look at the factory. And if needs a sample, also we can submit as quick as possible. And any kind of mass production quantity we can do for the quick transition of analog to digital market here. Okay. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. And then, this is my name. My name is Toru-san, working for Nippon Television Metal Company. This is a Japanese TV broadcaster. 10 minutes left. I go quickly. Anyway, could you change? Yeah. I want to make a presentation for the business model issues. I'm working for Nippon Television Company. This is a TV broadcaster, but I'm not engineer. I'm a content side, I'm business model side. And one more thing, I don't like fire. I love story. But unfortunately, I have to fight a little because DVD man is here. ISDB-T and DVB-T, both of them can do same things. I love DVB also because I love digital TV. Because digital TV can do many things, many new business. That's why I show you. HDTV, pay TV, multi TV, internet TV. DVB can do the same thing. We do the same things. There's a many business model, but one thing is different. Mobile TV. ISDB-T can cover one network, covers all. But DVB, additional network is needed. This is the difference. This is one of the different story. I can tell you everything now. Anyway, this is mobile TV in Japan. Perfect penetration. Because we started year 2006 April, but now year 2009 November. Is 60 million panels already in the market. Over 60 million. That means many people keep TV in the pocket already. How do you think about it? This is a very, very big impact on new business model. I want to tell you how wonderful to new business model. For example, what is mobile TV? Mobile TV is the one panel, two antenna, one antenna receiving TV, yes. One antenna go to the mobile telecommunication. That means we can create 4 new business model. 4 new business model is very, very wonderful each. Number one is pay content via telephone. Number 2 is easy mobile commerce. Number 3 is new type of advertisement. Number 4 is e-money or something like that. I want to tell you as much as possible because let me introduce myself again. I'm chairman of mobile TV community in Japan. That's why I know everything about mobile TV. I know everything difference between the ISDB-T and DVB-H. I know everything. That's why I want to tell you as much as possible. Oh, sorry, 6 minutes. This is a mobile TV. For example, how long are you watching mobile TV in Japan? Already 60 million times in the market already. That's why I can check it carefully. Check how long are you watching. One major TV has one time 30 or 39 minutes like that. Quite enormous. If you can compare to another mobile content, you can understand easily. Very, very powerful already in the mobile. TV company brought to the new TV, new mobile business now. One more thing. When and where I watch the mobile TV? Main situation is in the train, railway station, out of home. That means TV company can make home TV advertising business and mobile TV advertising in the outside, cross business. This is very important. One more thing. Example of pay content. This is Manny Pacquiao. Today. Tomorrow? Coming Wednesday. Tomorrow. Yes, this is Manny Pacquiao on Sunday. Fighting like DDB and ISDB-T. But if you choose ISDB-T, many people can watch the Manny Pacquiao in the train. Manny Pacquiao in the home, Manny Pacquiao in the office also. Or TV and anybody. It's a very good impact for every I can say people. At the same time, one more thing. We have telecommunication solution also. That's right. If you choose ISDB, mobile TV can access to the mobile internet. That means short maybe download in paid. That means, for example,